thoughts about me, oh God. They cannot be numbered. I can't even count them. They outnumber the grains of sand. And when I wake up, you are still with me. Psalm 139, 17 through 18. Psalm 139, 17 through 18. Bow, 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 bow. How precious are your thoughts about me, oh God. They cannot be numbered. I can't even count them. They outnumber the grains of sand. When I wake up, you are still with me. Psalm 139, 17 through 18. Psalm 139, 17 through 18. Psalm 139, 17 through 18. Psalm 139, 17 through 18.
Good morning, God. How are you? I almost made good afternoon. All right, we're going to laugh already the first. Thank you. It is a morning. Good morning, guys, and hope you had a great week. Hope you're enjoying this beautiful weather. Kind of crazy having 80s in the fall, but hey, who knows? It's been a crazy year. So just enjoy, take it one day at a time, I guess. So, all right, we're going to do our second part of our lesson, and this is where we do our Bible verse and puzzle. So I'm going to do the Bible verse first, and let's see if we can get that done. I'm going to do it my direction. I think you can see it, and we will do that. Okay, I'll move these here. How precious are your thoughts about me, O God. It's this one, I think. No, it's they cannot be numbered. They outnumber the grains of sand. I cannot count them. I've been trying to learn this. When I wake up, you are still with me. Psalms 139:17. So remember the little things here match, so keep track of that, and keep learning this verse. I forgot to check if it's next week or not, but we'll see. All right. Now we'll turn it over and do our puzzle. Not too hard. That's a little confusing because my papers are smaller than the picture on one side. Nope. See, already messed up. Okay, those go together. And he goes here. His head is here. His sky over there. She's picking up food. And the lady. Okay, now that matched now. It didn't before. I had edges hanging over. Okay, that's your picture. Okay, hope you can do that. Hope you have fun putting that together. And we will, hope you've been thinking about our lesson. Remember that what we've been talking about, and the Israelites. Remember that they at this time have, got away from the bad guys, and Moses has been leading them, and they went through the Red Sea, and they made it through, and they were free from all those army guys chasing them. And so what they wanted us to do was to say hooray and give a high five to somebody. So you need to, if you don't have anybody there, just raise your hand high and say hooray, hooray. How's that? okay? Because they were free, and we're happy that they're free. Now, instead of praising God, though, after they got through, what do you think they started doing again? Their famous thing of complaining. I've never seen in a story somebody that has great things happen to them constantly, and they still want to complain. They still want to fight the issue. And I don't know you, but in here it says that if we're told to do something and we're little and, well, you're little, I'm not little anymore, but I remember doing it. If somebody said, our parents said to do something and we didn't want to, what would we do? This is what they want you to do right now. Stomp your feet, cross your arms, and give that look like, I ain't gonna do that. Well, that's what they want you to do right now, because that's kind of where the Israelites, grown-up people, just saying, I don't want to do this, and why are you not taking care of me? And I'm sure Moses even got very aggravated at these people, and certainly God was very sad because he kept doing everything he was supposed to do. And here they are, they're first getting further down into the desert, and they're saying, we're hot, and we're tired, and we're so hungry. They just kept complaining, and they whined. Do you whine? I don't like whiners. I have a sign in my kitchen that says, no whining. Can't whine in my house. You'd be in big trouble. And they just did it. And all they wanted to do was complain and say, why did you bring me out here? Why did you bring me to this place? Why? I think we would be better being slaves. My goodness. Who would want to do that? Why would you want to go back and live like that? They weren't thinking. They were just so unhappy. And I don't know why they were unhappy, because God was taking care of them. God loved the Israelites. Moses was watching over them. God was directing Moses. And our big word today, I forgot to show you, is in the lady here picking up the food on the ground, and the word is precious. You are very precious. God said, you're precious to me. And he wanted to provide them with food to eat. He didn't want to leave them. So they got to where they needed to be. They made their tent. We're supposed to set up a tent. Can you imagine setting up a tent? I've seen some of you online. I think Carson and his sister loves to build tents with mom's furniture and pile it all up. And I know, putting cloth over a table and hiding underneath it and having a great time. Those are kind of things. Maybe you can do that later. Make a tent. But imagine yourself making the tent like they did and pretending to go to sleep. But those guys went to sleep. They went to sleep overnight, and they had been hungry. They weren't accepting the fact that God was going to provide for them. And God told them, in the morning, I will bring food for you. Well, they didn't believe that. But we're going to go to sleep. We're going to be quiet. And in a few minutes, wake up. I'm going to tell you to wake up. That was fast. Wake up. Rub your tummy. And is your tummy growling? It's getting near lunch and right now time. And I'm thinking, food sounds good. And the Israelites, they were still hungry. And they looked outside, not expecting to see anything. But what did they see? White flakes on the ground. And do you remember what it was? What they called it? Some of them picked up the pieces and some smelt it. They weren't sure what it was. Can you imagine yourself picking it up and smelling it? It smells good, doesn't it? What is that smell you're smelling? Do you remember what it was? Honey. Delicious smelling food, and they were arguing. The Israelites began to eat it, and it was delicious. And the Israelites called it manna. Do you remember that? They called it manna. Well, God promised that he would bring manna to the Israelites every single morning, but he gave them a specific rule. There was to be no gathering of food only for that day, for one day. They couldn't store it. They couldn't save it. they didn't need any extra food because God was going to bring it every single day. Well, can you pretend to gather up some and put it aside? Yep, I said put it aside. Listen. And they did. They put it aside, some of them. And what happened? Can you check yours out at the end of the day and you went to sleep and you woke up the next morning, look at your basket. What's in the basket? Not cool, is it? It's got bugs all over it. Because God said, don't pick up any more than you needed. And, well, guess what we're going to have to do? We're going to have to throw that manna away, aren't we? It's ruined. We can't eat it. And they were hungry because they didn't do what they were supposed to do. Now, all they needed to do was trust God. The manna was good, but the Israelites wanted more. Can you send us some meat? Well, again, God said he would provide. And before evening came, birds called quail were running through the campsite. And I'm sure they looked at him like, what is this? You know, they weren't even thinking that it was food. Can you walk like a bird? I thought about that. I don't even know how a bird walks. Very small little feet walking, but that'd be fun to play, walking like a bird. Well, the quails made delicious meals, and they had enough to feed them that day. Well, God said, there's another rule that you need. On the sixth day, God wanted the Israelites to store up extra food. Well, they weren't supposed to do extra food, so they started talking among themselves, and he said, no, for the sixth day and the seventh day, you're to store up enough food. And on that seventh day, remember what the seventh day is? It is our Sunday, and they called it the Sabbath. Well, on that day, he wanted them to rest. So, can you sit down and take a deep breath? Breathe right from your tummy and let it out. If you do that enough, that makes you feel really good. Kind of relaxes you, and that's what he wanted them to do, is just sit, relax, breathe, and not do any work. Just take time to rest. Well, some of the Israelites obeyed, but guess what? Some refused to do what they were supposed to do. And they were searching for the food. Now, if you had some binoculars, you could play you were looking for the food. Or you could just go like this and try to look for the food. But you're not going to find any because there isn't any out there because God said, what? I'm not going to give you any on the seventh day. So they ate all their food on the sixth day, and on the seventh day they didn't have anything. Not smart, was it? Well, even though God said all this, they still didn't listen. And what do you think God felt like? Disappointed, sad. He wasn't very happy that they weren't listening. It made him sad. But he had promised that he would always provide, and he never breaks a promise. And he provided for them every single day, and he took care of them. And I hope when we get to some of the other stories, that we will see that they will start to listen, because it's got to be hard trying to teach somebody, like your parents tried to teach you to be good, and you don't listen. It makes them sad. Well, that makes God sad too. And so we need to always listen, and God will be faithful. He will not let us down. So pay attention and just listen to what God says. Listen to what your parents say, your teachers, anybody in authority, okay? Because they know what they're doing. They've been around a lot longer. And when you get to be old, you will know too. I should have listened, because they were really helping me, okay? So do good this week, and we will see you next week. Let's pray. Dear Jesus, thank you so much for this lesson. So many times I know you're trying to teach us and trying to bring us to understand that we need to listen. Listen sometimes is very hard. We get depressed, we get sad, we want things right now. but help these boys and girls to see that if we just wait, you will not let us down. You will be there for us. Help them to learn this as we continue on in these lessons. And we hope that the Israelites will finally learn too. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this week coming. In thy name we ask you. Amen.